I want to call the meeting to order for the zoning board of appeals for July 17th, 2025. A note that this meeting is being recorded, just so we know that. Sorry for the AC being off, but we can't hear the recording when it's on. It's harder, so we'll make this as quick as we can, I guess. The first application, or the first and old business, is a public hearing. We have two of them tonight. First on the agenda is for Harrington's. Ralph Davis is representing Harrington's for Richard Harrington, 6 Depot Square. We had received all the notifications for neighbors that have been notified for the public hearing, and I see that we have a few here. Before we get to that, is there anything you need to add before the public hearing?
Just here's
Yeah, the receipts, yeah, I saw those, yeah.
receipts.
I saw them in the notes, but there was a lot. I
Yeah,
don't think everybody's here, but
there's about 18,
18, wow.
Wow.
you know.
You need those, yeah. Do you have anything you need to add to the application?
Not at this time.
To bring everybody up to speed, they want to continue chain link fence around the property to match the existing fence, or the fence that they had put up in the front facing the tracks. And they want to continue that fence. And if people want to see that, the line where that is, Phil, help me out. It's basically it's continuing. Oh, here we go. So,
Yeah, so
if you can point it out for the
you
neighbors.
can
that'd be
see
fine.
on the site plan here, this is the line, this dotted line here is for the existing fence that we're trying to match. And so the new fence that we're proposing is gonna go approximately from the corner there along and across the rear of the property to the back corner of this building here.
On the top of the ravine.
So-
That's not gonna be on the top of the ridge, that building?
Yeah, on the top.
Yeah, on the top of the bridge.
Yeah, we're not going down. There will be a man door so that we can go out there if we need to clean anything or
I see
something.
nothing. Where that's in.
Hopefully this will cut down on
It's not gonna
scratches.
be-
Yeah.
it's not gonna be-
Well,
That's like you.
yeah, well, hopefully.
Hopefully.
They just had an issue with that over at the bank. Got caught.
So it's going behind the houses?
Yeah.
Can we just do one at a
I
time?
can't see it. I
and
live
give
at 38 Kinderhook Street, and I'm right behind Harrington, so is the fence going there?
No, it's gonna be at the top of the hill.
So it's gonna be along the top of the hill.
Top of the hill?
Yeah, so there's a ravine down here, and there's an embankment that goes from the property here down to the riverside. And so the fence is gonna follow the top of the hill.
Are you on this side of Jail Street or on the far side?
The far side?
She's on
I'm
Pinnacle.
right behind Harrington, exactly. My property is contiguous with Harrington.
It's behind the cement block area.
Yes, I have the new Berlin Wall in my backyard. So is the fence going
It
there?
will, it'll go behind
Well, I
it, 'cause
have a
there's-
fence between the Berlin Wall and my property. I have a fence, so it's a very narrow strip.
Yeah,
That's where you're gonna put a
well,
fence?
there's, depending on the part that you're talking about, so, right there, it will come all the way to that red building right there, it'll come to that corner, it will be there, but there will be,
You have to
it'll
be
be a-
very careful.
From my
Knock down my
understanding,
fence.
I'm sorry, from my understanding from the previous meeting, this fence is replacing a fence that's there.
There is
There's-
no fence
there's-
behind.
Well,
it.
there was a line where there was a fence and it's
There
broken
was a
down.
building, there never was a fence that would belong to Harrington's, but on my property, it was just open always. There's one on the dentist side and there's one on Gavin's side, but there never was one on mine.
there's a small
That's why I
section.
put up a fence.
Because there is a small section that comes off the corner of that red building. I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but then there is a big gap right there
Yeah.
where there isn't a fence now, probably because there
Yeah, and
used to be a building there or something.
And the reason the applicant is here, because they're coming for a variance, because they want to make it
Like a
7
taller,
feet
yeah.
versus 6 feet.
Okay,
would
I
match
just
the-
wanted to know if it was good, because it's gonna be difficult to put a fence, because there's only this much space between the cinder blocks and my fence, which is a wooden fence, which will fall down if you touch it. It's that old.
Yeah, it's
So-
got 3 feet into it. I mean, it's,
I mean, it's okay, I just wanna know what's gonna happen, 'cause
we left space behind the block to accommodate that, but it shouldn't, it won't go onto your property or anything. There should be space behind it for us to clean out around it.
Well, the fence is indicated on the plot plan here as being the property line. So if you're on the property line, that's going to have to be figured out by the fence folks. And
when they put up the
Surveying.
big stone things and all the stuff that they've done, they've never spoken to us about it. When they cut down 5 trees right there, they never, ever came to us and said, we're gonna do this. So I worry that not gonna know what's going on, basically.
We trimmed
And
up some
it's
branches.
tricky. You know, you cut down 5 trees, you cut down a bunch of trees, which you told our neighbor about it, but you didn't tell us that it was behind our house, not their house. So it was a little shocking not to be informed, you know, and when you put up that big, we had no idea, just one day the big stone wall just arrived in our backyard. It'd be nice to be informed, you know?
Yeah, it was,
What's gonna
I mean,
happen.
it's not a stone wall, it was the mafia blocks that we put in to hold our whole material. I mean, it's not a permanent thing, we couldn't move it if we.
No, it's not, I don't care about it, except that it would be nice to know what you're doing basically in our backyard. It's our view, it's what we see in our backyard.
Yeah, and I mean, you can always call us at the store too, and unfortunately I didn't have.
I have, and I
numbers.
don't get much satisfaction when I speak to somebody at the store. So I just would like to know what you're gonna do in my backyard, basically,
Yeah,
before you do it, and I'm sure it'll be fine, but I'd like to just know.
You've had questions as well? Or did-
Well, I'm just saying that we were never notified when they started cutting the trees and everything either.
They just backfilled that whole other section this past year, we were never notified before that either, so I don't know if they want to plant anything along that bank, keep it washing out, and what it has.
I think notifying for the tree cutting, I don't recall or check, I think that's more, would be a courtesy from Harrington's to them. It's not a requirement for the
Yes,
neighborhood.
I'm requesting a courtesy, I
Right.
know it's not a
But it's on,
requirement.
it's on their property, and this is, I mean, they have a right to put the fence up along their property line.
Yes, I
Basically, they want to go 7 feet, and that's where,
like
no,
it.
it's definitely.
That's 5 instead of 4.
No, we're different applications. Yeah. So it's for a 1-foot variance,
Yeah,
which
No,
is,
yeah, I
and
know.
you can see that 7-foot illustration mark what the fence that they did put up.
we actually begged them to put a fence up,
Yeah,
and they didn't, because they just said they wouldn't.
yeah.
Because, now suddenly there's a fence, so it's just really annoying. I'd like to just register that.
And there's when I'm in the yard, Harrington's yard, there's a gate there. Is that gate's gonna be?
on Jail Street, yeah, we're gonna put a new one in there. That's still gonna be there.
Does anyone on the board have any questions or concerns?
I'd like to,
Yeah?
I'd like to ask you, does this satisfy your need to know what's going on? Are you okay
No,
with this?
I'd like them to come and tell me what they're going to do in my backyard. It's my backyard, it's my view of, the more they put up, the better, because the dust is horrendous. And every piece of anything that blocks off the dust from coming from the trucks going in really would be good. But I can't visualize exactly where it's gonna go, because I mean, as I said, I have a 6-foot wooden fence back there between that and the cinder block. So is it gonna go between there?
It should go right along the back
Yeah,
of those.
it'll be
that block.
interesting because there's a lot. But it's fine. It's definitely going there. That's what I really needed to know.
And it'll be taller than your.
And it'll be taller than my fence, yeah. Well, my
Yeah,
fence is.
it'll be, if your fence is to code, which I'm sure it is, it's a 6-foot fence.
Oh,
and-
yes.
But this will be a little
And my
higher.
fence is gonna fall down, so it'll be great that you're building a fence.
There's another question I had, is that the existing fence has, it seems taller than 6 feet to begin with, and there's a barbed wire at the top. This is not going to be, you're not going to be putting barbed wire
No,
on
that's,
this.
and for sure, the barbed wire faces the wrong way, but that existing fence is 8 to 9 feet in different
Right.
places.
What color? It's black, right? It's gonna be a black.
This will be black, the existing one that's back there is silver, just to galvanize.
Are you replacing the ones that are behind the dentist and behind Gavin and?
Yeah, it'll eventually,
The
it'll
whole way.
Okay.
The whole way. Anybody else? Concerns? No concerns from the board? No. Okay. So I'll make a motion to close the public hearing. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right. And I would move to make a motion to approve the variance for a 7-foot fence illustrated in the drawing here to go to encircle the property at 6 people square, to go 7 feet. So it's a 1-foot variance over a 6-foot fence, which,
Steve, you have
Yes.
the list of the factors you're supposed to evaluate.
I'm sorry, I
Do you
didn't-
have the list, the statute, the list of the factors that you're supposed to go through?
Yes, I do have
So you
those.
should go through those just so you can all into the specifics.
we're gonna go through the list, right? Oh, I have them in my card here, so it's not gonna be. You know, I have them on this little card, these cards here, and I think your wording is the wording that you have.
The decision form should have.
It's on the decision form too.
Oh, it was, okay.
This is.
Decision form is right here. Yeah. So, no variance will be granted without consideration by the board of the following factors. Whether unreasonable change would be produced in character, would be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. And I don't think it will change the character of the neighborhood. In fact, I think it will enhance that element of safety and security, both on either side of the fence. And then whether the request variance is substantial. Is it a substantial request? I think the reason, one of the things is that the reason we're here is for this is because the other fence went up
It's compliant.
without a variance, and then they came to the board for the variance after. So we're matching what was.
Yeah, well, that's my experience with Harrington's also.
Okay.
Not
That being said, in this location, I personally feel, and jump in whenever you want, that it's, if it was, because it's a commercial property, I don't find a 7-foot fence to be of great, it's not substantial in my opinion, the request. It's not like you want to go 10 feet. That would be substantial. Would the variance have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood? Again, I don't think it would. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created. Interesting question, because we're dealing with giving a variance to something that was they came back and asked for forgiveness. But it's there. I think that in matching the fence that's there is actually a benefit to make that. When you go back there, from my perspective, I'm not in your backyard, I'm seeing it from in Harrington's side. It looks pretty shabby. In fact, there's some places where there's holes and it's falling down.
Yeah.
And I think that this would really clean up that area. It also will clean up the area because a lot of growth around the fence and shrubs and things will have to be cleared out
Oh, yeah.
to be, so I think it would look,
And it'll make it safer, I think you're right.
yeah. So it's self-created in a way, but I think that, it's an improvement to the property and to the area.
We're also glad that you're cleaning up.
You are, yeah. So considering those factors,
Does the board generally concur
with those
Yes.
factors, yeah, I went, checked in with them, but, so I would make a motion to approve this variance for 1 foot, at 60 square. Can I get a second? All in favor?
I'm sorry, you made the motion, who
I
seconded?
did.
Who
Mark
seconded?
did. All in favor? Okay. Have fun. But I do have to ask you a personal question. How can you wear a vest?
In my defense, we keep it pretty cold in that building.
I know you do.
Not usually at the desk.
It's like, oh my God.
That's right.
Anyway,
Quite working, I think.
yeah.
Later than that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Maybe he's got just an air conditioner, you can't see.
Okay, the next application we have is the second application we have is another public hearing for 48 Osterlitz Street. This was for a fence variance to put a 6-foot fence in the side yard. Since they're on the corner, they have two side yards, 2 front yards. And the applicant wants to put up a 6-foot fence along Osterlitz Street, as opposed to a 4-foot fence for privacy and safety. And you have all the receipts were given to, do you have them? Yeah, so the receipts for the neighbors.
Steve or Aaron, the fence, as the fence is designed, does it now comply with the open?
Yes.
Yes.
So there's no variance on that before?
There's no- Right, so just the height, and so the applicant changed the design of the fence to be open. There's a requirement for how much a fence needs to be open, can't be a solid wall. So the applicant was accommodating and making that fence open enough so it wouldn't be a solid wall. And also the applicant moved the fence back quite a bit from from the street, it was right on the street, and moved it back, I think, quite reasonably far enough back, and also has agreed, and I have to remind you to this, we're gonna stop that 6-foot fence at that post, and then drop it to 4,
Yes.
and go back, so it's less of a variance that we would be giving. A 4-foot fence did you know that? The fence facing on Jones Avenue is gonna drop down to 4 feet.
And they talked about that.
Yeah, so it wouldn't turn and stay 6 feet across.
So it's always the one along Last Street.
Only the one across High Street. Do you have anything to add
No.
to the public hearing? So, I live up there, so I see it every day, and I have a few concerns, or a few,
Is the public hearing open?
yeah, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, the public hearing is open, yes, sorry. In that, did you all see the area that we're talking about? Okay. So, when there's a stop sign there, and when you're properly stopped at the stop sign, and you look to your left for sight view, you can't see anything further than Anito's, there's a wall, a stone wall. You can't see that. The fence will be, if you're stopped at the stop sign, when you look, the fence, it is in line with that vision, that side of vision. Anybody in their right mind would have to, if you stopped at that stop sign and said, okay, no one's coming, and you went, you'd kill yourself, because it's a dangerous intersection. If you go through the stop sign after you've made a stop and you look, it is perfectly clear of sight vision. They have gained all the sight vision. Your sight is interrupted by the stone wall, wouldn't be by this fence in any way. But my question or my thought is, if the legal position of that stop sign is where it's at, and you stop there, you look, and it does block it. So to solve that problem would be two things. You can move the post further back to your house, which is more of a hardship because it cuts your lawn, and I didn't get that sight view of what that would be back. And I checked with John about positioning of a stop sign. I know we're not going to get into the business of moving stop signs around, but the stop sign is really far back from the intersection. Nobody in their right mind would ever proceed after stopping at that stop sign where it is. And if you continue, if you've ever driven up there and you continue to the intersection and you can look 25 times and still get hit by a car because the cars go so fast through there. So that would be a question for you as to if the applicant, if you would be okay with moving that fence towards your house so the angle is greater than where that stop sign is legally, you would see the vision because you can take that line and draw a line at that stop sign right at where it is and look down and you can't see the wall, but if you move, are you following me? If you move forward.
I am following you. I understand what you're saying. I think state law does not say that the stop sign is necessarily the point where you need to stop. It's the stopping point in the intersection.
Well, I think that law would, I don't want to get into the law of, where the stop sign is. I'm just saying the placement of that stop sign.
Yeah.
I think if you roll through the stop sign, you're technically going through.
I know what you mean, but I think I disagree with that. I think the stopping point is at the intersection. By law, I remember from my...
Well, I think in that particular intersection,
But
it's a dangerous intersection.
And I understand
You'd be a
that.
fool to not stop.
Exactly. So
Again,
if you stop back where it is, yes, your view is obscured, I think, by the Anito's stone wall. But if you pull forward 2 feet, yeah, you get a perfectly clear.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no lines on these streets.
No, there's no line on
No,
that
there's
street.
no line there.
And, most of the time, if there is a line there, that's your stopping point, and then you stop there and then you inch forward to pull out. That's- Right.
And at the
Which is where the
bottom-
stop sign is, there's no line there, so you stop at the stop sign and then you inch forward before you're pulling out. You know,
Right.
that's normal.
And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because of that,
Traffic.
that's where you would stop because there's a stop sign there, and that when you look. But I don't know, I stop at the stop sign now because I was doing this, but I never stop. I mean, you would always stop at that intersection before you would
Right,
commit yourself,
right.
you know.
If you're
Yes,
taking a traffic exam, you're gonna stop at the light, the line, and then you inch forward.
exactly,
The daughter just takes
exactly.
it.
My daughter's got her permit now,
Yeah.
we're always debating that.
Yeah,
Move up, move up.
She failed her initial one because didn't stop at
She
the
rolled
line.
through
You
the
stop
stop.
right, you stop right at the line, and then you stop, and then you
Gotcha.
move
So
forward.
I'm sorry, that way you could see what's coming.
Yes, yes.
and in this particular, the reason I think that it's important to bring up is that this is a particularly dangerous intersection where people are coming down that road and up really fast. But because of Anito's wall, that's as far as you're gonna be able to see. And I don't know how many times I've said, okay, no one's coming, and then I go and somebody comes up that hill
There
and.
you have to inch forward anyway, because there's bushes going the other way. so,
Exactly. It's a
you know,
tough intersection. It
It doesn't
really
matter
is.
both ways.
But as far as the height of the fence, when you move that post back towards your house, so it comes up at that right angle, I thought that was brilliant. And it's behind, there's trees there.
There's trees there, and there were lots of bushes and shrubs there, and we cut all those down much to the delight of our neighbors, because it was very, when we bought the house, it was very overgrown. And when we cut it all down, it improved the sight line, and so we're very cognizant of that.
Yeah.
And the trees that are currently there, staying inside of it, we think does not impede your sight.
Right. So my feeling about it is that even though it's a 6-foot fence, it's so far back, it's not impeding any sight line, and it's a controllable thing. If you had bushes there and shrubs, there would be you wouldn't need a variance, and it would be worse. So it's you cleaned it up quite a bit. And for the privacy issue, and the fact that you've opened up the slats, I mean, at night you'd be able to see headlights through it. But if you're moving forward through that and stopping at that intersection, you solve the sight.
Well, keep in mind, too, that the only variance here is the height.
Yeah, it's the height.
So it's not the location that
Yeah.
everyone asks for. They could put a 4-foot fence
They could have
right
put
up to
a,
the line.
yeah, you could have put a 4-foot fence
Which
right
would
along.
really obscure.
Which would impede,
A 4-foot fence.
The 4-foot fence, you wouldn't be able to see anything.
It would have been terrible, it would be terrible, yeah.
The
They
2
could have just
feet,
gotten a permit.
the 2 feet above are so high, given that the road is down, the thing that is actually at issue here, which is the request for 2 additional feet, actually doesn't, I don't believe has any bearing on this, because
Yeah.
that's up in the, it's
Yeah.
the low part of the fence, to the extent that it has any effect on your ability to see the road. It's the lower part of the fence because you're looking down the hill. So I don't think that the variance at issue causes any of the.
Yeah, no, I agree, that's my feeling as well. How do you feel
Yeah, I don't have any issues with
doing this? And do you guys have it, you understand my issue around, yeah, you want to say something?
Yeah, I went by and saw the post when you put it. And I'm thinking, like, what's the big deal? You could see the whole, all the way down there, turn past the other stone. But I think now I'm starting to think, well, maybe I slipped too far forward, you know? Because I was watching the people coming down the hill as well.
Sure.
And you gotta be pretty far forward to see them.
Yeah,
And I thought I was at the stop sign, but maybe I was actually
Well,
beyond.
I made a real diligent effort to stop
Yeah.
right where the stop sign is.
I
There's no line there,
I would
but,
not stop there.
No.
right, but you would initially stop there and then you'd inch forward. All I'm saying is that if the fence was moved back towards the house, then that wouldn't be an issue. It might be a moot point, may not even matter. And I think what Ken is saying is,
That's, that really is discretionary, because that's not what they're here for.
Yes, or no, the location, yeah. So, so anyway, anybody else have anything to say? Are we all
I would say
fine?
the only way the location comes in, factors into this variance request, is because they're asking to go higher. For example, if somebody wants to build an oversized building, you can request, in connection with granting it, something maybe too big, you can say, well, then you've got to move it farther away, because that kind of offsets the impact. You know, an oversized thing close to the property line is one thing, an oversized thing that's far from the property line has less and less impact.
Yes, and
So,
this,
and I'm just saying, to factor it into what is in front of you, which is the height, you know, the location is only relevant in that way. It's like, well, it's 6-foot-high fence on the sidewalk, you know, that's kind of overbearing to people passing by. If it's set back, it has less impact. But as far as the sight line, you know, down to Samoa, it doesn't have any impact.
and we had a similar situation with another application where it was, if the fence was in the front yard, but it was set back so much, and there was a high sidewalk, and you looked down into the yard, so that 6-foot fence wasn't really, it wasn't like having a 6-foot fence right on the, you know, if you were asking for a 6-foot fence on the property line where the 12-foot fence is, I don't, all these factors would come in play. I make motion to close the public hearing at this time. Get a second? Check. All in favor? Aye. So, I again would make a motion to grant this variance based on this, after the drawings here and the location of that fence post. That fence post is not, it's not designated on any paperwork, right? Where you put that line, I mean, where you put that with the flag at the top?
The measurements that I submitted at the first meeting show the length of the Jones Avenue side.
This one is where you're
Yeah,
at,
so
right?
that's
Oh, that one, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's the new location, right?
Yes.
And where the post is sitting, that's the measurement off of that drawings.
It's on.
That post, and you have staked in the ground is indicated.
Is indicated the length that's on the drawing.
It's less than 20 feet, right?
I don't remember the number,
Yeah.
whatever I put on the drawing is how far I measured, and that's what the post is. What
There's
we,
20 feet
Yeah,
from fence
right.
to Austin Street.
Yeah.
to be sure it stayed inside the tree line, and that's where it currently is.
And there was nobody here part of the public hearing, no one was here to complain about it.
Nobody was here.
Next
Public.
door neighbors, okay.
Okay, here, okay, this is what I was looking for. Great. Okay, there's no height indications on this drawing elevation, but we're gonna call this section here back at 4 feet.
Yeah.
So that doesn't need a variance. The only variance we're granting, if we go that way, is to grant the 50-foot
Right.
50-foot length,
Which is what's specified.
which would be constructed like this open. Okay, so can I make a motion first, or should I read this?
You should read that, you should go through this factors for every area.
Yeah. So, we're going to, here, you have it. And you gave it to me, and
We can have
I'm going to have this one, and then I'll go back. I got my papers all over the place here. This is for the,
Oh, this is what?
oh, this is this one? Yeah. So we're gonna go over those criteria again.
You like this meeting, I've got breathing problems and I can't handle it.
Okay, thanks for coming, though.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I didn't realize how angry I was at Harrington's until I started talking. I apologize. They're not good enough.
Well, I hope it gets better.
One door opening, closed. Thank you.
So, to grant an area variance, we're gonna go over with, it cannot be granted without consideration to the board of the following factors. Whether undesirable change would produce in character of the neighborhood would be, wait, I'm having fun with this word, producing character of the neighborhood for a detriment nearby properties. I personally think it would be an addition to granting a variance here rather than to have an alternative would be plantings. Whether the benefit sought by applicant can be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance. Again, I think yes, he could put shrubs up and he could put that and not have to do this, but I think that this is a cleaner, safer alternative to what we could have in place. So I'm okay with that. And whether the request of the variance is substantial. And I don't think it's substantial because even though what Ken was saying about looking down as opposed to at it from your face, and also the fact that the applicant moved the fence back, I think is great, and that met the regulations for having it open, the open planks percentage, which I think is good. And was this self-created? I don't think so. I think he needs privacy. He wants privacy from what was there. I also think that his accommodation to lower the front fence, the return, is that we're only dealing with a 50-foot fence as opposed to a 50-foot section and a 20-foot section, which would have been, he's alleviating the front, one of the front yards, taking that need for that away. So, given those factors and considerations, I would make a motion to approve this variance for a 6-foot fence running 50 feet along Ossamer Street, as noted in the drawings that were submitted. This one here. They run 50 feet to a post that's in the ground, which is approximately 20 feet off the rear of the house, parallel with the rear of the house, that indicates that corner, which I think is important because that would indicate the direction of this fence, how far back it is. I don't think I'm leaving anything out. Can I get a second? Second that? That's a second from Lori. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Have fun, Paul.
Thank you.
Wait. So you'll hear from Eric, all right?
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Okay, good. Thank you.
And the third applicant is this is new business, new applicant for Amber and Ryan McPhail, property owners, at 48 High Street. And their variance is to, they're actually keeping the building and dimensions of the building and the side yard the same. What they want to do is they want to move the building back into the rear yard to accommodate their need for parking requirement for a living space above the garage. They want to rebuild this garage. It's falling down and disrepair.
This is a very, very technical request for variance in that they are actually improving the situation and making it less non-conforming,
Yeah.
but because the reconstruction still takes place in a required side yard or in a required front yard, it still needs clearance from this board, but it actually is making it less non-conforming.
It's improving the situation there. And it's, yeah. So
So the non-conforming part is that it's too close to the street? Is that it?
in relationship to their need for parking to accommodate a second floor dwelling, they need to increase their parking in front.
It's also too close to the side yard, and it's going to continue to be too close.
It's not moving any closer to the
Yeah.
side yard. Parking spaces have to be 9 by 19, and currently it's 17 feet back from the road. They're moving it 20 feet back from the road, but not moving it closer, so it still needs a variance.
So we need a variance for that, for the side yard.
Still too,
You
no.
still need
Well,
that 3 feet.
You need a front yard and a side yard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it is
but we're
being
taking 3 feet away, we're adding it to the back, so.
Yeah.
It's a very technical
Yeah.
requirement.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you're constructing something in a required yard, you have to.
It still doesn't meet the front yard setback, but it's better than it was.
Huh?
I said it still doesn't meet the front yard setback, but it's better than it was. And it's
Yeah.
not going any closer to the side yard.
Right. Since this is technically, area variance, do we need to have a public hearing? We do. We do.
By law, they always do.
I'm sorry, we do. I thought maybe we could get, because it had already been seen by the planning board.
Unfortunately, that's the law, state law.
Did you have a public hearing to the planning board or no?
Not yet.
I think it's next,
Yeah.
this month, right?
Yeah. So,
Depends on the timing maybe of whatever I need to do here.
I'm sorry?
I think that the time at which I can go to the planning board next will depend on the timing of whatever notices I need to provide for this meeting.
So unfortunately, a public hearing means next month.
Right.
So it would be, we have to notify neighbors. And Aaron will give you those numbers. And then you'd have to come back. And we'd have to have a public hearing.
But
So,
then perhaps if that hearing gets clearance, then I could maybe go to the planning board, which is
Yes.
the same month.
This will be, the public hearing will be the third Thursday of
Yeah.
August.
Was there a public hearing set for this month?
No.
The planning board?
No.
Okay,
No, and then the planning board is the fourth,
right,
it's the next Monday.
yeah.
so technically.
So technically, they could be approved next month.
With the public hearing, if it goes well, you could have approval by the next meeting, at the next
At
meeting.
both planning and,
Well-
planning and,
Yeah.
no,
You're talking
in
about-
August, next month. Approval next month for
Here.
planning and zoning,
Well, if the planning board needs a public hearing, no, because we won't have enough time to.
next month.
We won't have time to send out notices.
Well, they
Next
can
month.
still, they can still,
At the end of August, yeah.
they can still set a public hearing.
Yeah, but
It's
just
set.
for the end of August.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
You were saying that.
Yes.
So I wasn't hearing it. You were
No.
saying that.
So this board will schedule a public hearing for the next zoning board meeting,
Yes.
which is the third Thursday. And the planning board can
Set a
schedule a
public
public
hearing
hearing for the
Meeting at the end of
immediately
August.
after that, which is either following Monday or the Monday after.
Right, yes.
And at that meeting,
What's the time frame to send the notices?
10 days before the meeting.
So I would need to send, I would need, I understand sending notices for this, for the next zoning board meeting, but then And if you're saying planning board meetings quite soon after, I would need to also send certified notices.
Can we double them up? It's the same
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the meetings would be both at the end of August, and you
Oh, so I
would,
could put both,
correct, yeah,
all motions
Yes.
or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
into the same certified
yes,
mansions.
yes.
Okay,
Same,
Yeah.
I like that.
yeah, yeah, so do I, yeah. So I have to make a motion to carry this to a public hearing for next month.
Just gonna make sure the planning board meeting,
Yeah,
the date, check the date of that, make sure it's the
yeah, is there,
All right, so it's gonna be, like 11 days after this?
right, so August 21st for this meeting, and the 25th for the planning board meeting.
21st and 25th, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Okay? So can I get a second on making the motion for continuing this to a public hearing? Second, by Dad. I'm sorry, oh, yeah, all in favor?
You can have it if you want.
Thank you.
Great, I think it's, yeah,
Awesome. Yeah.
I have a curiosity question. Are you gonna tear that building down and replace it completely?
Yes,
Then we better make it quick.
foundation up, I know that's what I was saying, but
Yeah.
we'll just do, we're gonna need to take our time to do it anyway, so.
Yeah.
you know.
But yeah, we wanna build it properly, the foundation's crumbling, it's over. I mean, it's-
Yeah, I've been in that
100
building,
years
but I
old.
only stayed in the front.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, got lots of residents that are unwanted as well, so.
Is that, are we done? Oh, I want to remind everybody on the board to, I know some of us do, and I'm not going to point the finger at Mark, but you have,
She's free to go.
yeah, sure, free to go, I'm sorry, yes, you're free to go, yes. Thank you,
You'll
Amber.
send me a list, or I'm gonna email you.
No, I'll send you the list because, you're coming to the next planning board meeting as well. So, right?
Yeah, I will zoning first, and then planning.
Zoning first.
Well, the next planning board meeting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to come back to the next planning board meeting, which is the 28th here. Because that's when they have to set the public hearing
So they can
for
set the
August.
Oh, you're
Yes.
saying July 20th?
July 28th. Yes, come back here for this planning board meeting.
Okay.
And then also they should set the public hearing for the August meeting at the planning board. And we'll get you the notices for both the planning and zoning August meetings and.
Okay, so come to the 7/28 planning.
Correct.
Meeting,
Here.
and they will have heard something from zoning board, that zoning board says it's okay to proceed
Right,
forward.
and the planning board has to set their own public hearing for
Yeah.
August.
Okay, got it.
Great.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Respond to when we're having a meeting, just when you get the email.
I did. So actually, if we could say, like, you know, when she sends out the agenda, it's usually around the same time each month. If you'd be looking at your email at that time and respond immediately, just with a, will be in attendance, will not be in attendance. So we can know.
Did you? I'm doing what I'm told.
Sorry, we're not pointing fingers, it's just,
No, I'm
like,
joking.
sometimes everybody's great at it, sometimes people don't, but if we could just all be on the same page, it's very important for her, because she only works a few days a week, so it's.
If I'm not sending it back right, there's a problem. The last two times, no, I'm just saying, if I'm not doing it right, I'd like to know I'm not doing it.
I'll call them.
No, I mean, both the last 2 months I said I'll be there, I don't, I put my initial, you should have come up with my name at the header or something.
And I thought we had minutes here.
When's our next meeting?
I make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted. I had read them and I think they're just great. Can I get a second on that? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.
When's our next meeting?
The next meeting will be on August, you just said it, August 21st. Thank you, everybody.